Today, we are reviewing a new favorite of mine. This is Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung, whatever you want to say. But I think if you've never read Jung, or if you have read Jung, this is a great book simply from the perspective of he wrote this in a response to an interview he did that went, super viral at the time. Some newscaster interviewed him and wanted to kind of explore his ideas in more of a layman's perspective, and people really ended up liking this. And the interviewer basically said, hey, can we make this into a book? Can we make a book that you write that is basically simple so that everyone can find depth in your teachings? Everyone can understand it and apply it in their own lives. And Jung really wasn't on board for this. He really didn't think you could conceptualize these in simple ways. But after the response of the interview, a lot of people were saying, hey, I was exposed to your ideas for the first time, and it's truly inspiring. You've helped me so much. And Jung basically had a vision that, instead of speaking to purely the scientific community, he was speaking to the more average person, and really, helping out an entire crowd of people, more so of just, a few select individuals, a few more intelligent individuals. And the beauty in this book is that it really simplifies all of the overarching ideas. It goes over the unconscious, the collective unconscious, the anima, basically everything that Jung really contributed to the psychological field, and in terms of philosophical, and even in terms of inspirational. It really sums up all of his ideas very well. And one of the things that I learned from this book in particular was the emphasis on the dreams. I knew Jung was very into dream analysis, but I didn't really understand how much he emphasized analyzing dreams, because it said somewhere he analyzed 80,000 dreams in his entire career. That's a lot of dreams. And it's his basic point behind this was the more you can understand your dreams and the symbols and interpret them, the more you can understand where your mind's trying to guide you. Basically, the idea behind the conscious unconscious is that as we walk through our daily lives, we have to absorb certain information. Think about a test that you studied for. Can you recall that information a year later? No, because what our conscious mind does is it absorbs information, and the moment you don't need it anymore for your daily life, your day-to-day, it doesn't get forgotten. It gets pushed down somewhere deep into your unconscious, and these go to shape your unconscious memories, your unconscious biases, the things that really dictate your personality, your sense of self, the way you form relationships, the way you approach individuals. And when we understand that we're more than just what we can recall, we're more than just our memory, we understand that something else is influencing us. And the only way that this unconscious can speak to us is through our dreams. And through our dreams, it tells us what we need to do. This is why our dreams don't really make sense to us, but the more we think about it, the more we start to realize exactly what is happening. And Jung basically believed that we could find the path to our salvation through these dreams. And it's really, really interesting. And the way he developed this idea was really through Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was the first person to conceptualize that dreams had deeper meaning to it, that dreams had a deeper significance, and that in some way it was tied to the neurosis and the psychosis of the patient. And Jung took this a step further, because Sigmund Freud said that all neurosis and all psychosis came from sexual repression. And anything that couldn't be attributed to sexual repression was psychosexual, that there was some tie to it, in terms of a sexuality issue. But for some reason, he couldn't find the tie between it. And it's just Jung was this is complete nonsense. So then he basically went out on his own and really began to notice that there's certain universal symbols that they might not mean this exact same thing to everybody, but they have occurred throughout the entire history in visions, in what we read in the Bible, in what people say in terms of, through his patients, through other doctors' patients. There's all these reoccurring symbols, and it's really understanding these and understanding what symbols are. And what is symbols? What are symbols? A symbol is basically a representation of an idea, a representation of a philosophy, a representation of something deeper that can't be explained. When we see a cross, what does it mean? When we see, the American flag, what does it mean? It's something that we can't describe with words, but these symbols have such power over us, and it's being able to understand these symbols in the context of your dreams, in the context of yourself, and in the context of your personal experience, and being able to adapt these and really figure out what your mind is trying to tell you, really figure out the direction that your mind is trying to push you down. And I think these are interesting things that we should start playing with, and especially if you're really into self-discovery, self-mastery. I think this is a essential book for you to read because, let's face it, most of the advice online is about the material changes you can make, like going to the gym every day. That's fucking easy. Most of the things are like, oh, you got to go make more money. You got to go get a supercar. You got to go do this. Okay, that's easy as well. There's a ton of really rich people in this world, and a ton of them that are unhappy. This is so much deeper this is so much more important than this, because it's showing you how to fulfill your deepest desires, how to fulfill that itch inside of you that you've never been able to understand, how to become an individual, how to become who you really were designed to be, how to become who you were meant to be from the day you were born, but you've denied that desire. You've denied that part of yourself. Like for me, for the longest time, I wanted to be creative. I wanted to be someone that wasn't just stuck doing the same thing day in, day out. I wanted to, in some way, just express myself. And it didn't have to be anything large. It doesn't have to be anything large. I'm not saying like I need to sell millions and millions of books, millions and millions of, videos. I need to have views and views. Like, I don't need any of that. I just need to be able to express myself. And for the longest time, I was unhappy because I wasn't expressing myself. I was simply grinding away in the gym. I was simply grinding away trying to make money. I was simply grinding away trying to do all these things. But I was getting so far away from myself that I wasn't happy. And the truth is, you can find happiness if you can understand your dreams, if you can understand your interpretations. I had a dream the other day that was very interesting. And basically, I was standing on a table, I was standing on a barrel, some sort of thing like that. And it was very weird because there was people around me trying to grab me, pull me down. And the people, their eyes were completely white and really just symbolizing they didn't have a soul. But like, what that was telling me is that I'm forever going to be misunderstood, and I need to be on my own. I need to accept being on my own. I need to not be afraid to, express myself, not be afraid to have the people around me try to pull me back down. I need to keep fighting, keep trying to survive, keep trying to, express myself, because like there's a part of me that wants to be recognized. There's a part of me that wants to be world famous, but like I need to understand that like the more I'm recognized, the more I'm average, the more I'm everyone else. Like true genius isn't recognized until after they're dead. And I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I'm saying like even Kafka didn't receive the notoriety he desired to have while he was still alive. I mean, F. Scott Fitzgerald was the same way. Who was it? Was it Picasso? Yeah, I think Picasso was the one that never sold a painting while he was alive. I don't think he could even give away his paintings while he was alive. And like now he's seen as one of the greatest artists ever. I might be wrong on that. My brain's not working like it should, but yeah. It's interesting to understand these ideas, and it's interesting to start applying them to your life and start finding the path to your fulfillment, finding the path to your happiness. And if more people could do this, there would be less conflict in the world. And this is why I will always suggest reading Carl Jung. This is why I will always suggest accepting his ideas and using them to your benefit and using them to understand yourself in the larger context of the world, because society forces you to sacrifice parts of yourself to exist. Society forces you to conform. Society forces you to do certain things. And we think that, our mind just accepts it. We think that there's not a pushback on the internal, but the truth is there's always a pushback. And when we can understand and find ways to integrate what it is that we want out of life into our life, this is where pure happiness comes from. And this is really what the old alchemists believed in, what really Buddha and Osho were talking about, like the idea of integration, the idea of integrating your unconscious to your conscious and finding fulfillment. Again, love this book, love the ideas in it. It's very simple, it's very laid out. It's one of the books I would start off reading if you've never read Jung. If you've never read Jung, I would say read this book, read Memories, Dreams, Reflections, and read The Undiscovered Self. I think those are all great books to start with, but again, this is top 3 favorite Jung books so far. I think I have like 5 or 6 more to go. But yeah, love all you guys. Can't appreciate you guys enough. Link for this book will be in the description. If you want more from me, more of these types of lessons, more of these things, obviously subscribe to the channel. But right now, my school community is completely free right now. Has 13, 14 courses in it. Completely free. First 50 people are going to get in for free and never have to pay me a dime. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, join that now before it's too late, before you have to pay whatever fee I'm going to make it per month. And again, if you want to know when I'm streaming, if you want to get more updates on the things I'm reading, the things I'm doing, quotes that I find interesting throughout the day, if you want to talk to the people that are also, supporting this mission, supporting this channel, supporting this sort of community. The Discord's a good place to be. And again, yeah, love all you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the support, and I will catch you next one.